Hi everybody, I'm Blair, a grandmaster support main who loves playing enchanters. In this video, I'll show you how I climbed to Master's Dispatch playing nothing but Seraphine APC. I'll share the default item build, runes, and how you should be playing at each phase of the game. This build revolves around two items, Roa and Archangels. If you guys don't know, these items got significant buffs for patch 14.3, and synchronizes really well with Seraphine's late game potential. I tried using this build in both mid lane and bot lane, and trust me, it works really well. You just have to trust your scaling. Also, props to Coco Bob for this build. You ate so much! For this build, the concept is very simple. You'll scale and safely CS on your lane until you hit Roa and Archangels. Remember to only fight whenever necessary while making sure to get objective prio whenever you need to. Let's go over the runes first. You take Sorcery and Airy as your main rune, then Inspiration as your secondary rune. For the stat runes, you want to go Ability Haste, Movement Speed, and Scaling HP. Under Sorcery, you want to go Mana Flow Band for your first rune. This will help you sustain your mana early game to mid game. Next, you go Transcendence, so your cooldowns are quicker. Celerity is a good alternative, but I like being able to use my skills more than the extra movement. And finally, Gathering Storm for AP scaling. Under Inspiration, you take Time Warp Tonic for the third potion that you'll get once you hit level 9, which will give you a skill point and help you scale quicker. Then Futures Market to help you buy Roa as soon as possible and speed up your domination. Also, for spells, you want to always take Flash and Teleport so you can scale so much quicker. Now, let's discuss items. This build is very simple. Your core items revolve around rushing Roa and Archangels, followed by getting Staff of Flowing Water and Moonstone by default, but as always, feel free to adjust based on what your team needs. You only really need to build the first two items and just play safe and scale. Roa is for scaling to give you sustained mana and damage at max stacks. This also gives you a free level, which means you'll be able to get all your skills maxed first before your enemy ADC, thus giving you massive cooldown reductions, which is very important for Seraphine. Archangels overall is the best AP item right now, which gives you damage, mana, cooldown, reduction, and barrier for emergency situations. From here, you want to get Staff of Flowing Water and Moonstone since you'll always want to land your empowered Ws. Your job is to scale and dominate late game, primarily from the amount of utility that you give with your shields and CC. Of course, you have the choice to flex. For example, if you're the only AP, you can take Staff, then Cosmic Drive, and Rabadons. If your opponents are all AD, you can go Staff, then Frozen Heart. As always, build items based on what you and your team needs. Now let's discuss skills. Obviously, you want to max Q first for maximum damage and lower cooldowns, followed by W for shields and heals. Something that I notice a lot is a lot of the Seraphine AP girlies max E after Q thinking that you need the damage from it, but you don't. If you max W second, you not only get more shields and heals, your cooldowns will be so much quicker too, so stop maxing E second. This build is very cheap but very strong late game. You just have to trust the scaling process. Before the game starts, during Champion Select, remember to hover Seraphine, and you can also be brave to go first pick to give your team more flexibility. Seraphine doesn't really get hard countered and they won't know if you're going mid, bot, or support, so play the mind game. In early game, you want to safely farm your lane and avoid fighting unless if you know you're 100% going to win. I find that engaged supports are not the best bot lane support for this Seraphine build as you deal very little damage early game. If you're duoing with your bestie, you can ask her to choose another scaler like Sona or Senna, or a roamer like Bard, Janna, or Blitzcrank so they can help other lanes more. Another thing is to try to get prio for objectives as much as you can. You have good wave clear and teleport, use it to your advantage. In mid-game, assuming that you already have your core items, this is where you'll start shining. You basically outlevel the enemy bot lane with your Roa and continuous farming. Now, you join fights while consistently clearing mid-wave. One thing to remember is to never use W that's not empowered unless it's an emergency. This is your most important consistent skill in team fights, and at your third item, your cooldown for this one will more or less be 10 seconds, which means after one empowered Q rotation or two empowered Q rotation, you can always go W empowered first. Late game, you sing and enjoy winning team fights with your team. Thank you very much. And that's about it for this very easy to play yet very strong Seraphine mid or APC scaling build. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you love this build or if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments or share this to your besties as well. You can also watch me play this build live on my stream. Links to my other socials are in the description. As always, remember to always choose kindness. Bye!